I'm Morgan. I'm a huge dirt biker. Thanks for joining me for another huge dirt biker video, guys. I hope you guys are gonna like this one. We're here to talk about what you actually need to do to one of these motorcycles to get it ready to race. You know, KTM always talking about being ready to race. There's been lots of questions about that over the last lot of years, honestly. There's a bunch of people, especially you Japanese bike lovers, which I am one too. I love Jap bikes, but you guys are always giving us KTM guys a hard time. You're like, oh, this is ready to race, and you just spent 10 grand. And all right, fair enough. Let's talk about what it actually takes to get one of these bikes ready to race. This list of things is obviously going to change depending on where you live, how you ride, what kind of racing you do, what level of racer you are, and all that stuff, right? So it's gonna change. It's not gonna be, this is not a one size fits all list of things you need to do to a 300XC. But this is my list of things that I needed to do to get this thing ready to race. And I think you're gonna find this is a pretty short list. So let's start with the very first thing that I felt like I needed to do to get this bike ready to race was to get my handlebars on it, Pro Taper Woods Highs, that's what I like, and then my XC Gear Mako 360. That's because I'm old, I'm fat, I'm broken up, I've been beat down, I've ridden 1 billion miles through rough country, my wrists and hands and shoulders and everything hurt all the time, so I needed something squishy up there to help me out. Do you guys need it? Maybe, maybe not. If you're 25 years old, you don't need one of those. I'll tell you right now, you do not need one. You might want one, and they're pretty awesome. I'm not saying don't get one. If you got the money, buy one. In fact, if you watch my whole video series on this bike, you'll know that that was like the first thing that I did was the Mako 360 and these bars. So for me, that's something I needed. Second thing that I felt like I needed was these handguards, okay? I love these handguards. The stock KTM ones are fine. I think they're ugly, and I don't like the way they mount. The Enduro Engineering ones are nice. They got this nice billet aluminum mount here that goes onto your perch. Makes a nice stiff mounting situation for these, and they're burly. I like them a lot. I need handguards for my hands because I am not very talented at riding motorcycles, so I hit things. I like to have my fingers protected. One of the things I absolutely 100% needed, and honestly, you guys cannot argue with me. This is the one thing you can't argue with me about, and that's the Enduro Engineering spark arrestor, or some kind of spark arrestor, because I ride on public land, I race on public land, we have to have spark arrestors. So yes, I needed that. Honestly, did I want to put it on? No, I'd rather not have a spark arrestor. I don't think fires ever start out of the back of a 2-stroke or even a 4-stroke, so I think it's, total BS, but I needed it, I had to have it. I ride and race in rocks, okay? So I need protection for the motorcycle. I need things to keep the motorcycle from breaking when I crash it or I veer off course and hit a rock. One of those things is a skid plate. Now this bike actually came with a skid plate. It was actually pretty good. I mean, there's some people out there complaining and whining about it, but honestly, I thought it was pretty good. It's plastic. It's probably made by a Chirby's because, they contracted out. KTM doesn't have a plastic factory or mold factory, but I thought it was pretty good. The one thing it didn't have was an ability really to put a good flappy guy for your linkage. I chose to put the Enduro Engineering aluminum skid plate on there. Did I need to? No, I didn't need to. Honestly, the skid plate that came on it was pretty good. The problem, again, this is for me, with the stock one, not having the little flappy guy back there, is that you do need something to protect the linkage because I am not talented enough to keep my linkage out of the rocks and logs. Now, there are guys out there who are much more talented than I am. They can keep that off. That's awesome. I'm not one of those guys. So I need some sort of linkage protection. So I like the flappy guy and then also the Bulletproof Designs aluminum part because, and there's definitely some people going to laugh at me about having belt and suspenders there. But the aluminum is good. That's really all the protection you need. That will save your linkage and all that good stuff. But that aluminum does like to hang up on things, much like an aluminum skid plate. I get it. I know. I understand the weirdness going on there. But that linkage is more like an anchor than the bottom of the bike. So it tends to want to hang up. So I like having a little plastic over there. The plastic is not to protect the linkage. It's more to slide over things. Another guard that I need, and you can see that I need it, was a rear disc guard. So that is Bulletproof Designs. I think they're burly. They're awesome. They're rad. They have a lifetime warranty. They're amazing. Also, they sent me this caliper guard, which I didn't think I needed, but look, I guess I did. I guess I did need that. So that was awesome. Another huge thing that I need, personally, is this brake cooler that's behind there. You can't really see it, but from System Tech Racing. I drag my brakes, my rear brake, especially when I'm riding, especially when I'm racing, trying to go fast. I overheat brakes, and that has saved me a ton of crashes and off-trail excursions by keeping the rear brake working and keeping it cool. I know it doesn't look like it would do anything, especially with that caliper guard over it, but that caliper guard doesn't really block the wind from going. Anyway, it helps. Trust me, it helps. It's big. All right, front disc guard. For me, it's another need because, again, I'm not very precise with my dirt biking, and I like to hit things. Well, I don't like to hit things. I hit things. And for me, the disc guard is important. I really like the System Tech Racing front disc guard the best. I also have one from Bulletproof Designs. Thank you, Bulletproof Designs. It's aluminum. It's really, really burly, but it likes to hang up on rocks, and I like to hit rocks, and so it's much stronger than that from System Tech Racing, but I don't like the way it wants to hang up on a rock and stick and then make me go over the bars, which I've done before. Also, fork lug protector on this side. Again, you can see how well or how much I needed it in the past. I've already hit it numerous times, and it kept my fork lug safe. Radiator guards, also from Bulletproof Designs. There they are. Boom. There we go. One of the best investments for me. I know some guys out there like the full kg. Dude, they're all awesome, okay? I personally like Bulletproof Designs. They've held up very well. They have saved me numerous missed days of riding because, I like to fall down. I keep saying that I like to do these things. I don't like to do these things. It just happens. But anyway, I fall down. Those things have helped me an absolute ton. They've kept my radiator straight, kept them from leaking, and it's big, big, big deal. Now, I know some of you guys are waiting for me to say that I needed to put mooses in these tires and I needed different tires. Incorrect. I did not need that. That is a luxury that I absolutely love. Honestly, and for me, like racing, I'm not going to go to a race without mooses in the tires because I don't want to spend all that money and go and race. But did I need it? No. I absolutely 100% could have just run the stock tubes that were in here. They're thin, but put a whole bunch of air pressure in them, 15 pounds, something like that, and gone and raced. And, risk a flat, risk those things. But I didn't need to do it. I also didn't need to get rid of the tires. I don't love the tires that came on this bike, but they were fine. They had knobs on them. They're round. They did whatever. So yeah, guys, I'm even going to go that far and say that I didn't need mooses. That's about it. Now, I put a different sprocket on it. I didn't need to. I revalved the suspension. Honestly, I did not need to. This suspension was really good out of the box. Was it perfect? No. Was it super duper supple and plush? No, but it's a race bike. I like the way it handled out of the box. Actually, one thing I did need, because I'm fat, is a rear spring. So I had to go up to a 4.5 Newton meter spring from the 4.2 that comes on it. So I needed a stiffer rear spring because I was too fat for the way the bike was set up. But suspension valving, guys, I mean, if we weren't a TBT shop and I didn't have enough money set aside to pay someone to revalve my suspension, this bike does not need the suspension revalved. And I know that's a ridiculous thing to say as a shop who sells suspension, right? I'm trying to keep you from giving me money, but I'm not that guy. I'm not just trying to take your money just to take your money. I'm actually trying to get you guys set up so you can ride more, have more fun, and all that stuff. And if you don't have $1,000 to $2,000, or even, you know, some guys are spending $5 or $6 grand on suspension. If you don't have that and you're freaking out, you just bought this $12,000 motorcycle and that like totally taxed the budget, don't do it. Don't borrow money. Don't, you know, I stand to not benefit by saying all these things, but I'm telling you right now, you don't need it. The other thing I didn't need to do was the head from RK Tech. Kelsey, thank you so much for the head. I really appreciate it. It's awesome. It does make it run better up here at elevation. Did I need it? No. This bike was amazing stock. The motor was brilliant bone stock. It was absolutely incredible bone stock. So, yeah, guys, honestly, this bike in stock form is hands down the best bike I have ever ridden in stock form, period. And honestly, in stock form, it was really, really close to being ready to race. The only things for me that weren't ready to race was protecting a few things so that I don't bend them. And like, here's the reason that I protect the things I protect. Skid plate, that's no brainer. You don't want to poke a hole in the cases and, you know, A, cost you a ton of money, B, ruin your whole day, whatever. It just goes on and on. Disc guards, bending the crap out of a disc guard in a race, that's not a good thing for me. Again, I'm a little bit ham-fisted when it comes to riding. That's something I need to protect so that I can finish races. You know, the spark crusher, obviously I had to have, spring I had to have the thing. Although I raced it, by the way, with the stock suspension and won the 40A class in a local race with the stock spring. So I guess technically I didn't need it. It worked pretty darn good with the stock spring. Or you could say I needed to go on a diet more than I needed a spring. That's actually probably a better idea. Anyway, the headlight, don't need that. It's a race bike. I like having a headlight in case I get stuck out somewhere, just in case kind of deal, but I don't need it. Thank you very much, Chris Vestal from Moto Minded, for the headlight. I very much appreciate it. But did I need it? No. The counter shocks, I like it. That's right there. I really like it. I think it makes a difference. I think it makes the bike work better. Did I need it? Nope, didn't need it. Blingy parts, brake pedal, foot pegs, oil fill cap, bleeders, all that stuff, don't need it. I like it, don't get me wrong, I like it very much. I want to thank all my sponsors. You guys are amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But I'm trying to help people here, because if I can keep people riding and having fun and getting better on their bikes, and not going deep into debt just to deck out a bike, I think it's better for the sport, right? We can bring more people in to ride than, you know, just like making it this crazy elitist thing where they feel like they have to buy a $12,000 bike and then have to sink another $5 grand into it. That's just not the case. You don't. You don't even need a $12,000 bike, honestly. My kids are getting much faster than me on their YZs. You know, one's a $3,000 bike, the other one was free, YZ 125. So you don't even need the fancy, shiny, brand new KTM at all. But is the KTM ready to race? In my opinion, absolutely. If you're willing to take a few chances on some guards and stuff like that, the 300XC is 100% ready to race out of the box. If you can't win on that, then you can't win. Sorry. That's all there is to it. I was going to say, like, pros, they need suspension. Honestly, dude, the pros I know could ride this thing box stock and win, because that's just the way it is. Well, they'd ride that 50 box stock and beat me. But, yeah, guys, I know I've done all these videos, I've shown all these cool things and all this awesome stuff, and if you have the means and you want to buy that stuff, please buy it. Absolutely, buy it from me. Call the shop, 970-240-2197. Send me an email, morgan@highland-cycles.com. Buy stuff from me. I can drop ship things around the country, all that stuff. But if you don't have the money, don't do it. Just go ride your dirt bike. That's the important part. That is the thing that makes the biggest difference. And when it comes to suspension, let me just touch on that again. If you are a person who wants and has the money to do custom suspension, that's awesome. But I still think you need to take the motorcycle out bone stock, get the right springs in it, of course, but take it out bone stock and ride it and click on it and ride it and click on it, ride it and click on it, ride it and click on it. Because when you do that and you come to your suspension tuner, whether it be me, another TBT shop, some other brand, whatever, there's a ton of great tuners out there. You can come to that tuner and you can say, this is where my clicker settings are. That's how I felt it was the best that I could do with the clickers. That will give your suspension tuner so much information. They will be so stoked if you come to them like that, instead of just like, here's my stock suspension, I haven't touched it, make it better for me. I go fast, I'm okay, but you know, everybody rides different. Some people ride stand up more, some people ride sit down more, some people like corner differently, whatever. And all that is very tied into the way suspension is working. So if you can click on it for a little bit and then give your tuner that information, that will help a ton. All right, guys, I hope that video was informative. I hope that video maybe saved some of you some money. I hope all these videos that I do, whether it be showing you how to do fork seals, showing you how to do a shock, showing you how to do a top end, bottom end, wheel bearings, but I hope that what we're doing is inspiring you guys to work on your stuff, that will help you save some money, that will help you then be able to spend that money on gas, tires, hotel rooms, camping trips with your kids, all that good stuff, so you can actually get out and ride these things. And if, shameless plug, if this channel has helped save you some money, and you know, maybe you got one of these bikes and you're like, and you went out and clicked on the suspension, you're like, man, I do not need to spend $2 grand on suspension. I hope I just saved you $2 grand, even if it was coming to me. I hope I saved you money. And if we have saved you guys any money and we've given you any quality content, maybe consider giving back to us a little bit to help us do more of these videos. Obviously, buying bikes like this, putting parts on, I mean, I was fortunate to get the parts for free, but buying bikes are expensive. Going on trips is expensive. These cameras, all this stuff is expensive. Maybe consider giving back. You can go to the links down below. The Buy Me a Coffee is a simple way to give $5 at a time. It helps us out a ton. If you want to support us monthly, you can go to Patreon. All these links are below. One thing, guys, that's a huge help is just go to our Amazon page. Again, that's down below. Set that as your home Amazon page. And then when you order from Amazon, and of course, there's someone's out there going to yell and scream, that jump up and down that they hate Amazon. Whatever. Anyway, I get it, but what? Anyway, let's take some of Jeff Bezos's money. And to do that, you can use our link to get through into Amazon, and then you go buy TVs, pots, pans, camping gear, whatever, and we get a little bit of a kickback. Also, you could just send me money on PayPal. You can send me money on Venmo, all those things. If not, that's fine. I'm going to keep making free videos for you guys because I love you. But I do want to grow this thing. I do want to do more and bigger things. I do want to buy more bikes and review them because I think this one's turned out really well for you guys. Hopefully I've been giving lots of good information about it. That's enough plugs about that. I'll stop talking about money. I love you guys so much. Thanks for joining me for another huge dirt biker video. Get out and pop some wheelies.